My name is Tammy, and I'm here today because my son, Riley, was a firefighter for the Grand Rapids Volunteer Fire Department in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, where my husband and our other son are from. He was 20 years old when he passed away 9 months ago. Helping people was his passion. He actually was in college studying to become a police officer. That was his end goal. But to continue with the volunteer fire also. They go hand in hand in our community. Most of the people that are on the fire department also have some link with the volunteer fire department also. He was just an all-around special young man. When he passed, it was amazing the things you learn about your children you didn't know prior to their passing, things that came out of the woodwork as to the tributes to him, which were good and bad for us. He was an organ donor, which we didn't know that until the time came. He actually has been able to help 8 different individuals throughout the United States, and the donation team was astounded that he was able to do that for so many different people.
Hi, my name's Kevin Huiras. I'm here today to honor my son Riley. He was a firefighter with me on the Grand Rapids Volunteer Fire Department in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. I've been on the department 20 years. About the same time he was born was the time I joined, which is kind of unique.
Riley was always very energetic. He was always, from the time he was born, top tier. He learned to walk at 9 months, and you didn't stop him from then on. You had to have your tennis shoes on to follow this child around. He was on the go from the moment those feet hit the ground. And again, if you were somebody who was in need, he was going to give you the shirt off his back. I had somebody reach out to me on Facebook who I recognized the name, but I didn't really know who the person was. He had said, I just want to tell you this story. And I was like, okay. He had said that at some point between high school graduation and current, or when Riley had passed, the individual had been homeless. And apparently, again, unbeknownst to me, Riley had given him several meals, had given him the last few dollars in his wallet, simply because it was somebody he had gone to school with. Wasn't really what you would classify him, as one of his, good friends by any means, but the person was struggling, and Riley knew this, and Riley gave. And it didn't matter who you were, didn't matter whether you were in his close-knit circle or not. If he saw that you were struggling, he was going to help. And that came from itty-bitty to the time he passed. I think Riley became a firefighter partly because his dad was a firefighter, partly because we kind of pushed him in that direction because he needed something else to do. He was going to school and he was living at home, but school didn't take up a whole heck of a lot of time. But also because service was his middle name, and it really, once he got started, it really brought him joy, and you could see it. When that fire pager went off, he didn't care. He was bolting out the door to get in his vehicle to go to the fire station. He did have a job working for our local collegiate baseball team during the summer, and I would always tell him, do not have that fire pager on you. You are going to work. He would leave his job to go, and if a call came through, child, you're supposed to be working, not. Oh, he loved his violin. We had a member at our church actually that made violins and gave a violin to Riley. Played at church, when he could. Yeah, was his music or his violin teacher through all the way through school. Absolutely loved him. I mean, in high school, when they had the opportunity to not eat in the cafeteria, he was eating lunch in the orchestra room because he just liked being around that teacher and liked being around the music, and just absolutely loved his violin. Self-taught himself piano. He was up till all hours of the night, regardless. I mean, we could hear him, or I could hear him through the vent system. It'd be like, Riley, go to bed. It's like the brotherhood of the fire department was very important to him. He was only with the department a very short period of time, but I think some of his very good friends came from that. He was actually asked to stand up in one of the gentlemen's or one of the guys' weddings, and it would have been this coming summer. And somebody that he didn't know prior to joining the department. And another individual, they went through the state fire course. They were stuck like glue, and would still be, today. It was very important. Our community is so small that, and the grade school that they went to was in the jurisdiction of their firehouse. So during Fire Prevention Week, that's where they went. And Dad would take that day off to be, one of the firemen, that was there that day during that week when they were in grade school. And so both of our children knew that Dad was going to be there. And so that was always, extra special, for them. We were actually on vacation, and he hated this story. He absolutely hated this story. We were on vacation in Chicago at a museum, and like I said, he started walking at 9 months. Very independent, headstrong. And the thing we always told our kids is, we're in a strange place. You don't know these people. You don't know what they're going to do. Do not leave my side. He left my side. Now, granted, I have eyes in the back of my head, and I knew where he was. He didn't know where we were, but I could see where he was, and I could see him panicking. But I had eyes on him, and so I'm watching him, and as soon as he saw me, you could see in his face, like, oh no, Mom knows I'm not, not there. And that was a story we would retell for years, because it was like, yeah, Riley, you knew that you were not supposed to, and you thought you were lost, and you thought somebody was gonna kidnap you because you were, walked away.
Well, I think we spent time together hunting. That was another pastime that we shared together, was deer hunting. And of course, the first time, in Wisconsin, it's blaze orange on. We're up in the stand, and of course he nods off sleeping. And all of a sudden, that's when the deer came out, and I had to nudge him a little bit and say, "Riley, wake up! There's a deer out there." And of course, he woke up and he was able to shoot the deer. It was kind of like a good success story, but again, it was kind of unique to catch him, kind of nodding off, because it was a long wait. It's cold waiting and everything was going on, but it was a great, funny story. Our community, like I said, he was both on the police auxiliary and the Grand Rapids Fire Department, and both the fire chief and the police chief kind of all melded together and kind of planned everything out together, depending on what we wanted. Like I said, we wanted them to be on the police side, but as far as the activities, but it was the firefighters that did the most. I was really impressed on everything that they did. It was obviously, when you got the apparatus of the fire truck coming there, you can show that support with everybody. There's more people in the department too versus the police department. So yeah, it was a big to do. It was all great stuff. Like I said, our fire chief knew Riley. Since I've been on the department with him, so me and him, obviously Riley and the fire chief was a great match too, as far as people that knew him and understood what he did.
I want people to remember Riley as a kind-hearted young man, as a giving young man. That's my precious son, and that's who he was, and that's firefighting, police work, all that aside. I mean, he was just a very loving individual, and would give you the shirt off his back, and I think that's what he has shown over the course of his 20 years that he was with us, and more people saw that than I think that we as his parents got to see. I mean, we saw it, but he did things that we didn't know about. So I just want people to remember him as the loving, kind individual that he was. And last night at dinner, they passed around stones for us to pick out colors and words. Love was the stone that I picked, because that's Riley to me.
Riley was one word for him would have been the honor part. He like I said, besides the fire service, he was also an Eagle Scout. The honor.
Here's to you, with that smile on your face. Here's to you, and what I want to raise to this moment we share.